There I was scrolling on my Twitter feed and I come across this thing from Goal and they're saying, forget Pitso Mosimane, forget Penny McCarthy. Here are 5 reasons why Cavin Johnson should be the coach. Do I agree with them? Some of you agree with these things, so let's go through each and every one of them and see why they are right and why they might be wrong as well. Hello and welcome to Kosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pilo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Amakusi Football Club, starting with player management. You see, when it comes to player management, I don't really know what would be the criteria that we use to say, okay, this man is a good player manager. Because the only thing that I can say about Cavin Johnson that he did recently, which is not just player management, it's more like team management, because when we won the game against Richards Bay, he came out with the assistant coach Dylan Shepard and the other 2 people as well, and was like, these are the people who are making Kaizer Chiefs and all of that stuff. So that's the only thing that I've seen that Nsegi never did, but Nsegi was catching hands left and right and center, so there was no time to say, these are the people who are making Kaizer Chiefs. So really with this one, I don't think it's something that is unique to him, because under Nsegi, we never had that, oh, now players are being disrespectful because it's Nsegi. Instead, the incidents Kakune happened under Cavin Johnson, and you're thinking to yourself, doesn't that fall under player management? Because if you cannot manage the discipline of players, let alone your captain, or like, how are we gonna say you can manage the rest of the players? Because we've talked about how there are coaches like Abu Unai Emery who failed and couldn't succeed at teams that have had players with big attitude and egos, like Abo Mbappe at PSG, but who is able to boss smaller teams like Abo Villarreal, and also is now coaching Aston Villa, and they are doing well in the league. I just don't know what they did yesterday against Man United. They just lost somehow. But he usually is able to manage players with egos that are a bit lower, but if they are now big time, like Abokune bayazazi good bang, I'm a big time player, or Abotul bayazazi good bang, I'm a big time player. So I wouldn't say with that one I disagree with it, in fact, because of mainly the incidents Kakune, because that's the main thing that has been problematic. Ukuthi if players cannot respect you enough to not come to gym benugutshwala, then how can we trust ukuthi you can manage the rest of them? Because bonke bazobuka lo bethi, oh, umyekile ukhune namnikeza i-suspension ka-3 months, ayinatsophuza masingasafuna ukudlala bese niyasuspend. Anyways, that's just that. Number 2, they are talking about the fact that he understands the situation. I don't even know what that means, if we're being honest. Because I feel like when they were asked Pitso Mosimane about Kaizer Chiefs, he says the same thing. It would be a great project, obviously. They're a big team and stuff like that. I feel like every single person who wants the Kaizer Chiefs job would understand the situation. I think the only danger would be someone who's coming outside of South Africa who does not know or understand how big the team is. But we know that these coaches do their research. Redundancy. Anyways, they do their research and they know how big Kaizer Chiefs is, and they understand that 8 years without winning anything means a lot to people. It means like the world is ending, we're panicking out here. So I don't think we can say, oh, it's only unique to Cavin Johnson that the situation is dire, it's difficult, because clearly everyone can see that the situation at Kaizer Chiefs is not good. I will go to this other point last, because I think that's the one that is also kind of ridiculous. So stay tuned for that one. And in the meantime, do like the video, subscribe, do the nice things, the things that are done. Yeah. Now, the other thing that they talk about is the fact that he's got the charisma. I think in the charisma, in the player management, and the personality in general, that thing should be very one thing. Uguti, can you manage players? Where does that come from? That comes from your personality. Can you come across the right way to the players? Well, that's still kind of your personality. Does Cavin Johnson have the charisma? Does he have that oomph? Like, yeah, you can see Guti, he's a Kaizer Chiefs coach. Yes and no. Yes, because there is a part of him that looks relaxed and calm and he can deal with situations, but I have not really seen anything special about the personality of Kevin Johnson. I'm not saying he's horrible. Hear me out. I'm not saying he's bad or he sucks. I'm just saying I've not seen anything special about the character yakhe because yabona ukuthi when you talk about a coach like Benny McCarthy, everyone knows ukuthi he doesn't take nonsense from anyone and you know what you're expecting from him. He's straight and arrow. And for the Sundowns fans who are watching out there, I know when we're talking about Rulani that we're talking about a tactician. That's his thing. He obsesses. Yes, people will talk about how he tries to look like Guardiola. I don't care. Oksalayo, that helps him to be the better version of himself because he's looking at how Guardiola does things and is learning from him and stuff like that. So what's special about Rulani? It's exactly that his obsession with how Pep plays or even himself with how he plays and how he can improve upon that. So that's what makes Rulani special. What makes Uramovic with Galaxy special? It's the fact that he's a very strict coach, but also he's very educated in a way and understands the game. I know people will say, but he's number 13 in the league and stuff like that. But now we're talking about unique characteristics with coaches. Because when I think about Johnson, the only thing that will come up in my head is the fact that he's good with younger players. And also, he did well with Platinum Stars. People will point back to Amazulu. But the main thing that we can think and look at with Johnson is the fact that with younger players, he's very good with them. But how much game time has he been giving to youngsters at Kaizer Chiefs? Not much, because we can't really say uNkosingphile Ngcobo is a youngster mdala manje uNgcobo wafethu. Isikhathi sokuthi ithi ingane kade sadlula. Ingane manje sekungosamkelo nomduduzi. Those are the kids at Kaizer Chiefs manje. Laba abanye oNgcobo Mashane badala ngeke ukuthi uMashane ingane na 26. Come on. So that is why I'm saying that if you're gonna say he's got the charisma because I'm relating it to personality, I really don't think that is something that is unique to him. And also, it's not something that is, what can I say, is essential to winning things. Because I think one of the things that most of you guys are thinking about is if you're going to come to Kaizer Chiefs and resurrect a sleeping giant or awaken the sleeping giant, the main thing that you're going to need is a track record of winning. And the track record of winning, that's where you have Pitso Mosimane because he knows how to win. Yabo. So we with Cavin Johnson, it's like, yeah, he's won some things here and there, but at a club of this size, has he done it there? He's not done it before. Which is why Pitso Mosimane, for most people, will always come on top because people are thinking he's done it at Sundowns. But he left Sundowns, he went to Egypt. He did it with Al-Ahly. He moved from Al-Ahly, he went to Saudi, and then he got the team promoted. So he has done it consistently in very big teams and got them promoted in the case of Saudi Arabia, or got them to the Club World Cup and winning the Champions League in the case of Al-Ahly. That is unique to him. That is proven with Pitso Mosimane. With Cavin Johnson, is it there? Then ngakuboni. And then point number 5. It's actually point number 4, mind you. Point number 5, I forgot to write my script. No, they are saying that he understands. They're saying Chiefs is way under construction. Oh, yeah. Before we talk about that, I remembered the point. The other point they said is that he's here for the long run. He's here for the long run. What do you mean he's here for the long run? Because he's here for the long run as a head of youth and development, not as a head coach. That's why he was appointed. Why are we now going to change our plans and say, let's go for him because now it's working? That means there's a space that's vacant. Angazi mina. Ngiyaphosa because I don't understand why we are going to be hyping Cavin Johnson manje as if he has done extremely good work. Like he's done okay, guys. For me, Cavin Johnson has done okay. And it's not even like he's a plumber. No, he's not. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying I do not think you're gonna say he's won 3 games in a row, ngoba 1-0, and we haven't seen anything special kubo labo 1-0 akade bawina. And now you're going to say, based on those 1-0, he's better than Pitso Mosimane as a candidate. To me, that doesn't make sense. The thing that I zele Cavin Johnson ku Chiefs ukuzoba head of youth and development thing. Akahamba yokwenza lokho. He's gonna do it very well. I know that. But ukuthi sisothu ngcono kunoPitso as a candidate. Give me 0, man. Which brings us to number 5. Number 5 OT Chiefs is way under construction. I even had commentators making a joke about this the other day when Chiefs were playing. They were like, Chiefs' way. What is Chiefs' way, to be honest? Yini Chiefs' way. And one of the things that made me laugh but realize that this is actually true. Chiefs' way, well, what we know about Chiefs is that they win, right? Or they used to win and win things, not just 3 games in a row and then, we melt down like we're Arsenal fans. But Uguti Chiefs won. And if Cavin Johnson can continue winning 1-0 until the season, he's probably going to be number 2 on the log. And we're going to be unsatisfied or dissatisfied, people like me, with the performances. But I guess if we won the cup, we wouldn't care that much. But at the same time, if you think about Thabo Muki, Tiki, if you think about Dr. Kumal, Skarangobes, you look back, you see, man, there's always been flair. There's always been an element of entertainment in our football. But I look at Kaizer Chiefs under Ntsegi. I look at Chiefs under Cavin Johnson. I don't see none of that. I don't see our players playing without fear. But ngisho kuyisulubuso bukaMntu, but ngisho nje playing with confidence. I see playing with fear. And I understand and I appreciate the situation yokuthi yes, that might be because of the fact that we've been losing games and we're still trying to gather momentum for future games. But in the meantime, I've not seen anything that says Chiefs' way. Because if I look at what we've done and what we've achieved under Cavin Johnson, ayikho into ethi kimi we're under construction of Chiefs' way. I would just say it's the same thing that we did when we beat Cape Town City. In fact, it was more entertaining when I watched Cape Town Chiefs win against Cape Town City. It was more entertaining when I watched the first half of Chiefs playing with the Sundowns. I remember that one because we scored and then we ended up conceding another goal. Well, they tried in the second leg, I think, because they were fighting and you saw Guti, they were determined. I mean, they didn't have a choice at the same time, so maybe just discard that and pretend you didn't hear me. But I look at everything else, I don't see anything. I mean, I will tell you the truth. Sengize ngibe stressed iChiefs mayidlala. I prefer mayingadlali because mayidlala I know bazongistress. So that's the pain that I'm facing now, that when my team is playing I get stressed and I don't like that, because whenever Chiefs played I always looked forward to the team playing because I'm like, yo, amanje itazodlala or madoda so entertaining iball. Manje uyazi bazozama somehow balokhu bephasa ibhola emuva bathola ichance eyodwa bayikore bese beyadefenda futhi game yonke. That's not entertaining. That's frustrating because then you know that after that game you have to come and stand in front of a camera, which I don't mind, and talk about this. And when you voice your dissatisfaction with poor performance, people will be like, Mpilo, complain too much. But I will always say this. I do not think Cavin Johnson should be the senior coach of Kaizer Chiefs. I should say right now, if we come back after this AFCON break and then I start seeing the things that I'm saying we're winning but also are playing a ball, then my mind might be changed. But right now, angawubona umehluko between what he's doing and what Zwane did last year, because there was a time when Zwane also had a 4 games winning run and we're like, yeah. But at the same time, at least we were playing and creating more chances under Zwane. But manje under Johnson, ngiyabona ngathi kuyasatshwa, and I don't know ukuthi kuqhamuka lokho. Where does that even come from? But ke nina ke ngifuna, I want from you to tell me why you think Johnson is a good idea, because I know a lot of you now are convinced by Johnson. So do let me know, Guti, why do you think Cavin Johnson should be the head coach of Kaizer Chiefs? What has he convinced you with in what he does, Uguti, he can indeed become the Kaizer Chiefs coach. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy.